Hello and welcome to the Business Advocate. My name is Russell Carriere. I'm the owner of First Choice Business Brokers of East Tennessee and Nashville. And our episode today is going to be about financial planning. Okay. This is a great topic. I love this topic because it's confusing. Most people don't have a clue what financial advising or financial planning actually means. And truth be told, I'm one of them. I thought I was pretty savvy when it comes to finances. And what I am realizing is I am a novice. And so I'm bringing in an expert today. This is Tyler Johnson with Peachtree Planning of Tennessee. Welcome, Tyler.
Russell, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the kind words.
Why don't you tell everybody just a little summary about you?
Yeah. So we were just talking about this a little bit ago, but long story short, I am a family full of teachers, former teacher, former professional baseball player in the Oakland A's organization. I had really significant hip surgery when I was 23 years old. Not the hip surgery, not a hip replacement, but it was enough to end my career. I've always had an intense passion for helping people. Worked in what's called an adaptive aquatics department for a little while at a junior college in California. My wife and I moved out here because she works in the medical device industry and California is crazy expensive, like all the people moving out into Tennessee. And then got into financial planning, was lucky enough to be approached by Peachtree Planning of Tennessee. And I loved their model. I love the care they take with clients. And I love the fact that I could kind of do this financial situation a little bit differently than I've been experienced before.
Awesome. So with our show, The Business Advocate, we are about education for business owners. And so this is the reason we're having this topic today, because it's important to educate yourself when it comes to financial matters. And one thing that most people find is that they think about their personal finances, they think about retirement, and that's about as far as it goes. And they may dabble in investments, okay? And what people don't realize is you have to put a plan together, not just personally, not just insurance-wise, investment-wise, retirement-wise, but you need to include your business when you're planning. And so this is where I actually became a little bit confused and who to speak to in regard to this. And Tyler, I'm going to have you jump in here in a minute, and I know you're dying to. I can see it on your face. What is the difference? What is the difference between a financial advisor and a financial planner?
Yeah, so it's a small distinction in the wording, right? And then there's a lot of things online that say people are financial planners, financial advisors, financial advocates, whatever it might be. But in reality, I think you touched on it really, really well and right off the bat, right? In reality, your financial world is usually segmented, right? There are people that do employee benefits. There are people that do various insurances, disability, life. There are people that will take your money and put it in funds, right? AUM kind of models on the financial side. I would say those people are more the financial advisor, where they're kind of niched into one specific thing, and that's what they specialize in. Now, if we switch to the planning side becomes all of these things together and how they impact what's going on in your personal and business financial life. And I think the one thing you referenced the most, and one of the things that actually kind of blows my mind is, and Russell, correct me if I'm wrong, but as a business owner, your business continually funds your personal side and makes your personal life better over a longer period of time, correct?
Yes. Actually, it works both ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as a business owner, especially when you're starting out, you typically have to fund your business to get it up and running, right? And so if you don't have your personal finances in play and functioning,
Right.
it's hard to do that. Then as your business grows and matures, this is exactly where Tyler just mentioned.
Right.
That business actually needs to start paying you back and funding you personally.
Yeah. And we call it, transferring the value onto the personal side, right? Because as we talked about in person, really high level stuff, most business owners fund all of their money inside of the business, right? Grow the business, get a 10, 12x return, whatever it might be. And then they get to you. And then we're conversing about one asset they have, right? One business that potentially will sell or potentially will not sell based on the deal, right? It's kind of like going in the open market with a piece of real estate, right? You might get the deal you want, but in the reality, you might not get the deal you want. And that has massive impacts. So if we cannot continue to transfer money onto the personal side of the way, then we're putting ourselves in a situation where when it is time to exit, and right now, about 80% of business owners are thinking about exiting in some form or another. We talked about a massive transfer of wealth between baby boomers, Gen Xers, and millennials. So as they're thinking about transitioning out, now we're relying only on the business to sell or transfer so that we can fund our personal life afterwards. So in the grand scheme of things, all that sounds very complex, but what we're really discussing is cash flow, right? Cash flow in your personal life, especially when you retire, is massively important for business owners. I don't think we just quite realize that they come into congruence with each other with the business itself. So that's where we, from a, again, very high level, start to bridge that gap by saying, here's what's going on your personal side and here's what's going on your business side. And how do we start to merge these things?
So I'm going to bring this up even a higher level. So we talked about business planners, financial planners, and financial advisors. And so most people do their education and their research on the internet. They get it from Google, right? And so there's a lot of information out there that is a little bit misleading, to say the least. And so I'm just going to say it, even in the marketplace today, there are a lot of people out there that call themselves business advisors. And we need to clarify something real fast. Business advisors can offer many different things, as Tyler mentioned, but you find some people are very specific to insurance. And insurance is the method that they're going to protect your wealth. And then there's the other side, which is investment. No, we're going to take all your money and we're going to invest it. And this is how we're going to protect your wealth.
Yeah. And I think also mixed into that, most of the business owners I interact with, they have a CFO or CPA, right? Their CPA is kind of the go-to, right? And I love CPAs to death. They are the absolute necessity inside of a business model. But usually people are turning just to the CPA to give them recommendations about tax efficiency. So we see things like that on Instagram all the time, on TikTok, which a guy will go buy a G-Wagon and say, I can write it off and I don't owe any taxes anymore. And you're going, oh my God, like that's dangerous when we're thinking about that from a long-term perspective, right? So these people are all incredible pieces to the picture, right? But what we really provide, again, in this business consulting model is that we want to bring all these pieces to the table together. Because if we can't have a conversation about how insurances play in, about how investments play in, and how about your taxes play in, and legal structures, and we can't do that all at the same table together, then there's going to be a loss in communication, right? There's going to be, it's like playing telephone. Russell, I might tell you one thing,
right,
and then you're going to go to try to articulate that to somebody else, and by the time we get a month down the road, I'm coming back and I'm saying, Russell, I didn't tell you that at all. Right. And so, again, putting all these pieces together is incredibly important. And most importantly, usually what happens in financial advisory is I would send you a phone number, say, hey, go talk to this person, right? But what we try to do is bring all these people to the table, whether through a Zoom call, through sitting down in our offices with us and say, here's your lawyer, here's your CPA, right? Here's us, and let's all get on the same page about what needs to happen going forward.
Honestly, I think you're nailing this. You need to stay in your lane, right? If you're a financial advisor or financial planner, you're not the tax attorney. You are not the CPA. And I think it's great that you bring these people in. But I'm telling you, that is not the case for most advisors out there. They are going only with what they have. And there's advisors out there that only do insurance. And Tyler, I want to just kind of touch on this part of the advisory on the insurance side. What is the purpose of insurance for? And I just almost gave it away. Protecting your money. Go.
Yeah. Well, and so we have to think about it in two respects, right? I believe fully in three things. I believe that you are your own best asset. Your ability to grow income, create income, and save that income is the only thing you have control over. And that's especially true with business owners, right? So in that essence, nothing you own is more valuable than yourself, right? I mean, I don't care if you have a $15 million business, you are the person running that business. You are the arbiter of that business, if you will, right? So in essence, the insurance guide becomes incredibly important. And not to go into the rabbit hole, but we see things that are kind of done halfway, right? So we talked about buy-sell agreements, and there being no actual funding behind these things. They're just pieces written down on a piece of paper, right? But also, when you're doing things in a segmented manner, the life insurance strategy can be complex. It's very complex, especially when you're dealing with permanent life insurance. And if you don't know exactly how those permanent life insurances work, you can really, really put them in a bad position based on what you think is going to happen with the permanent life insurance. And honestly, that's why we talk about Dave Ramsey. That's why Dave Ramsey yells at people down the road about permanent life insurance, right? Even though most of the wealthy people of the world understand the benefits of it, right? But we talked about this over coffee. There's all kinds of different permanent life insurance, but unless you know how to truly create it, truly put it into the value of what needs to happen for the person, then what you're doing is you're getting an opinion, right? Hey, Russell, I think you should put 15 grand into this because this is what I sell and you have a business, right? Instead of how does this fit into the long-term strategy of what you need to have happen based on what happens in your life. And I interact, Russell, sometimes with business owners, and I'm sure you do, that go, I don't care about what happens to my business, right? I don't care about my family. I don't get and you're like, okay, fine. So in that essence, some of those things fall to the wayside, and that's fine.
I look at that side of being a financial advisor that offers the insurance side. That is protection. And okay, so I'm going to swing the pendulum over to a business or financial advisor that does investments.
Yeah.
Talk about that, Tyler.
Yeah. So the theory is that, well, not theoretically, but in actuality, the market performs, right? I mean, I'm a history guy, right? I got a couple of history degrees. I love looking at past performances of everything you can think of, right? And the way I look at it is the market is the one thing that always will rebound. It is the one thing that always produces about, if you're looking at like the S&P 500 over longer periods of time, 7 to 8%. But unfortunately, I hear conversations with people that say, oh, you're going to get 10%, 11%. I'm like, whoa. Are there points in time when that happens? Yes. Right. But do we have to understand how fluctuations in the market work? Absolutely. Right. And most importantly, because of fee structures of certain places, because of those fluctuations, that can't be our only strategy because yes, it works over longer periods of time, but every 8 to 10 years, it's going to be a complete nightmare for for a year. Right. So I think about it as 2008. Inside 2008, it wasn't just a drop in the market and a drop in real estate. You thought the world was ending, right? There were the biggest financial institutions in the world lost $900 billion overnight, right? So the collective, if you're in the investment world, the collective consciousness and the collective feeling of people plays a massive effect in how people invest over time, right? So part of my job is to mitigate that, right? And say like, hey, calm down, everything's going to be fine. And then the second part of my job is to make sure that we have other options, that we have guarantees built in, we have liquidity built in, right? And so if I was just to send you a fund, or if I were to put your money in which I can do.
We've talked about financial advisor on the insurance side. We touched on financial advisor on the investment side. And if I'm hearing you correctly, you can't really just pick one. This is something that you need to work with somebody local, number one. You need to build a relationship with somebody that you trust. This is not a Google search. This is not watch a podcast, right? This is not watch a YouTube video. We need to educate ourselves with people that are local that know us, so they can describe and help us to understand where I need to be on the insurance side, where I need to be on the investment side to start pulling it together for the financial plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would even do the legacy side, right? When we're talking to business owners, it's not just can we create a more efficient retirement for you? The question is, can we create an efficient retirement while also providing whatever legacy you want? Maybe you want to leave drastic amounts of money to your children. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to give them a leg up. Those two things become very complex over longer periods of time, but that's also a very personal question, right? Because it's however people feel about their dynamic with their family, that being in a business for 35 years. It's not the type of question that you can help someone work through in one conversation that lasts 45 minutes, right? And the more we can help people work through those things, the better off those people feel about their own financial picture. Because again, as I tell people in person, it's not my money that like people say sometimes, take my money. Like, it's not my money. This is your money, your plan. You need to have it work for you in every aspect: legal side, tax side, investment side, insurance side. Right?
People struggle with, when do I need to actually talk to a professional? I only have $5,000. I only have $10,000. I have $25,000. I have $100,000. I don't have enough money. Financial advisors, financial planners are only for the wealthy. They're not going to want to talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the industry standard, right? Because the industry tells you that. The big wirehouses of the world. This is part of the reason I started doing what I was doing, because when I was playing baseball, I didn't like that relationship. Like, seriously, I didn't like the fact that, sure, one person told me that if I wasn't making $250,000, I wasn't serious about money. And I'm like, whoa, that was weird. And then also, the person just stopped talking to me, or other people around me. Right. So it's like, it just was an interesting dynamic where I'm saying, like, I have a lot of people, Russell, and I just don't do business planning, right? I do personal financial planning for people. I have a lot of people who are just starting their personal financial lives, 26, 27, 28-year-olds who are very serious about having these conversations now, right? I've also talked to many people in the last year who they get nervous because they think I'm going to judge them if they have debt, if they have this. And I go, guys, like, when I got done playing baseball, one, if you don't know, like, you get paid like crap to play baseball, by the way, minor league baseball. There's a lawsuit that just finished up with that. I was driving a 91 Honda Civic for 10 years that I bought it for $400. I lived in a studio apartment with 4 people, 4 grown men, right? Who were like 6'4". So, like, that was till I was 24 years old. Okay. So, to all the people listening out there, if you have any money saved up, or if you're starting a business when you're 28 years old, you're doing way the hell better than literally 90% of the other people in the world. So, but to your point, Russell, the the stigma of I'm not valuable enough to talk to this person comes up a lot. And that's honestly why some people don't talk to me sometimes. I have to make them feel more comfortable that I don't care what's going on in your financial life. Let's try to get it figured out. And honestly, if you are willing to speak with me about it, you're willing to come and sit down with me or a Zoom call with me about it, then I'm willing to help any person that walks into my office, because I believe in my, thank you. I appreciate, I believe in the mission, and again, part of that comes from the way I was raised. I believed in, and my dad taught in junior college for 30 years, right? I believe that you can help people get to the next stage that they want to get to. And a lot of that comes in with business owners, right? I mean, these people put their life's work into one thing. And really, sometimes this has happened, right? What you see and you say like, hey, this may not work out the way you think it's going to work out when you go to sell, right? When you go to find out what's going on with a third party.
Yeah.
And it's really, really heartbreaking to say that, to have someone sit in front of you and say, hey, I should have talked to you 15 years ago.
So,
funny. I'm like,
the lesson here, okay, for everybody listening, wherever you are financially, pick up the phone, go find somebody that you trust that's a professional to talk to you about your finances, okay? Yes, we have to start personally before we start professionally, okay? Wealth is built, and it's built over time, okay? Most people don't start a business right out of high school, right out of college. They go work for somebody. They gain some knowledge. They gain some experience. They gain some wealth. And again, wealth isn't $1 million. Wealth could be $5,000. Wealth could be $10,000. Okay? If you start early, and I'm hoping there's young people listening right now, start early. Okay? Because it builds over time. And you can leverage your wealth to do other things. Maybe you're ready to get out of corporate America.
Yeah.
Maybe you're ready to start your new business. Okay? If you're building your wealth and you understand your finances, it allows you the flexibility to do things. Okay? Maybe business isn't your thing. Maybe you don't want to buy a business. But if you understand your finances and you understand how to manage money, maybe it's a house. Maybe it's your children's education.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would also add to that, Russell, like if you truly understand your own value, then you're going to be open to talking to someone else about how to make sure that that value is fully realized, right? Because that's really what we're talking about here as well, right? You have a value either on your personal side, and your business side. How do we make sure that you have as much of that value in your own pocket as humanly possible over a longer period of time? Because otherwise, you're working. And this has happened a lot with people that are, you said, in the corporate world, right? I'm tired of getting paid terribly for what I'm doing. I'm tired of working long hours. I have children now. I mean, being a person who has 2 children, like I speak to people about this in their early 30s a lot. People are exhausted right now with the inflation, childcare. Like it's a lot of money to have 2 kids right now, right? And most of that is because income has not kept pace with the things that are necessary to keep a child alive right now, right? So I've had people that we've started businesses, not me, but like they've started businesses with my help. And they're starting to become successful a year, 2 years down the road and start getting that journey going 3, 4 years down the road. And as you're very aware, Russell, there's a lot of benefit to the American dream, if you will. There's a lot of benefit to having something that's your own, but also it becomes massively challenging as you continue to grow that. And it can be more stressful if you're trying to wear all the hats. If you're trying to be the tax man, you're trying to be the investment guy, you're trying to be the lawyer, right? That's exhausting. I mean, I do some of that, and it's kind of exhausting from my end, right? So if you're also doing that and being the person who runs a full-blown business.
To your point, people are getting frustrated in corporate America and they're starting businesses. And if you start early and you're building wealth and you're building your financial acumen with a professional to educate you, and you start a business, and as Tyler mentioned, you're going to get advice, you're going to have help to run your business. You have to. And we're going to cover a lot more of this in an upcoming episode, but when it comes time to exit your business, if you do not have a plan, and it doesn't need to be that you're going to sell it, okay? You could pass it down. You could give it to your employees or sell it to your employees. There's many things that you can do as far as an exit strategy when it's time to get out of your business. The wrong time to make that decision is when you want to be out of your business. It doesn't happen overnight. Decisions can't be made that fast. You have to plan. And this is where experts are out there, okay? You have experts, as Tyler mentioned, on the legal side, on the accounting side, on the tax side, on the financial planning side, on business consulting, on marketing, everything else for the business. Now, you bring that all together and you formulate your exit strategy with everybody that you built around you for your business. Okay? When you exit your business, if you operate your business correctly, you ran it correctly, and you grew it, this is going to be the largest financial transaction that you're probably ever going to do in your lifetime. It's larger than your house.
Yeah. And it usually is the biggest, is also the biggest asset on your personal balance sheet. It always is, by a large amount, right? Go ahead.
And the old saying, do you want all your eggs in one basket? No, you don't. This comes from experience. First business, I put all my eggs in one basket. One little thing happened to my business where I couldn't get product anymore from my supplier. My business was over.
Yeah.
My largest asset ended literally overnight. Okay. And I did not have a professional. I wasn't talking to the experts to know that I should have been pulling money out of my largest asset and putting it in investments, putting it in insurance to protect myself personally.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. And I'm so glad you said that, right? Because, and I know we're wrapping up here soon, but the nice thing about our flexibility here is that we don't deal with just plumbers, right? We don't deal with just construction workers. We believe that the way we plan can fit into any industry that we come in, especially as we start dealing with bigger companies, and then we start doing some more advanced estate planning stuff, and we can get into that the next time, right? But these things become massively important. And again, I'm not going to go out there and say, oh, I just work with blue collar people. No, I believe that we have the ability to be flexible. And mostly that's because of some of the stuff I've done. We talked about our boss who runs the office, Corky does amazing work with business owners in Atlanta, Birmingham, here, all across the country. So
awesome. So as you mentioned, Tyler, we are running out of time. I know everybody, this was very high level. It was intended to be high level. Okay. We are going to have more episodes diving into all the different tools that are out there for financial planning. Okay. You're going to have to tune in with us. You're going to have to stay with us. You're going to have to come back and you're going to learn a lot more. Okay. So Tyler, please tell everybody who you are, who you work for, and your phone number.
Yeah, I'm Tyler Johnson. I work for, as you can kind of see in the background there, Peachtree Planning of Tennessee. I kind of accidentally planned that this morning, by the way. I just found a good spot in the office. That was not planned. I'm good to no. Russell, I'm telling you, I sat down today and I was like, man, that looks pretty cool in the background. That's the anyway. That's not usually my marketing. Isn't my spiel, right? Tyler Johnson, Peachtree Planning of Tennessee. Our office is over in Brentwood here. I always say it's kind of the next Uncle Julio's a little bit right in the background of some of these other offices. And at my phone number, 818, it's a California number, 818-263-7610. And then I have a very long email address, tyler.a.johnson@peachtreeplanning.com. So if you'd like to get in contact with me, that's where you can find me. Yeah, I know that's a heck of an email address. That's where you can find me. But like Russell said, I have a lot more episodes going forward. We want to dive into the nitty gritty of all these financial topics. And again, focus it a lot around just starting with cash flow and understanding cash flow.
Tyler, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you on the show. To everybody listening, thank you. We greatly appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please click on subscribe. Click that link, like button, ring that bell, all the things that you're supposed to do. We greatly appreciate it. You'll be updated on any new episodes that come out. This is the Business Advocate. My name is Russell Carriere. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I can't wait to see you again.
Absolutely. It was great speaking with you, Russell, as always. I'm looking forward to doing this again.
Thanks, Tyler.